The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Hey you! Ready for the chance of a lifetime? In the next 3 minutes, you could win $3 million! All new players at ResortsCasino.com get a free spin for a chance to win $3 million instantly. No purchase required. That's right. At ResortsCasino.com, you could win $3 million right now. Sign up and get your free spin. Only at ResortsCasino.com, where winners play. Must be over 21 and physically present in New Jersey. Excluded persons prohibited. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ResortsCasino.com for more details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthmacore Studios near Detroit, Michigan.
Oh, man.
It's the Weedsman Podcast.
I have no idea what's going on.
And now,
you have smoked yourself retarded.
Here are the Weedsmen.
You want to get high?
Welcome to March. I'm Chris.
I'm Aaron. It's March, yeah. March Madness.
Q1, almost in the books.
There's the Waters of March. I listened to that. I listened to 3 different versions of that song today.
Waters of March.
You don't know the Waters of March?
Who's that by?
Well, probably the most famous English version that we would know in the States would be by Art Garfunkel from his 1975 debut.
Oh, is it like a folk song or something?
It's by Antonio Carlos Jobim. It is, let's see, it's Portuguese. No, Brazilian. It's a Brazilian song, yeah. No, yeah, because Jobim is from Brazil, right? I got that right? Yeah, Brazilian composer. Okay. It popped up at the end of a movie that I saw recently, The Worst Person in the World, which is a Norwegian film. And it just kind of stuck in my head ever since.
I don't hear this white-ass Garfunkel version, especially you telling me it's by a actual
no doubt.
person.
Like, the original's better. There's a couple great versions by Sergio Mendes. Actually, the Brazil 66 version has Jobim playing guitar on it, but it has all the English lyrics. So that's probably the best hybrid version of it. I like the Garfunkel version, but that's like I have the record from when I was a kid. Like I stole it from my parents' record collection.
The wood of the wind, a cliff of fall.
Sounds like some music Austin Powers is getting laid to.
It's the wind blowing free.
Who's doing this one?
This is your boy, Antonio Carlos Jobim, J-O-B-I-M.
Oh, okay. So he did that's not him singing. He's got somebody else singing for him, I think. I think he sings the Portuguese version. So wait, is that they speak Portuguese in Brazil?
Yes.
Or is it just that there's just a cultural crossover thing there? I didn't know that. I was trying to think of that earlier because I was like, wait, Brazilians, what do they? I've never heard of a Brazilian language, right?
Yeah, dude.
And I know that it's not just Spanish like they would speak in Mexico.
Like I said, Sepultura's from Brazil, and I know they spoke Portuguese.
Ah, yeah, that's good. What a great band, too. So, yeah. And the complete opposite of the Waters of March.
Aren't we supposed to beware the Ides of March?
Yeah, that's another March thing. You know what that's from? That was the warning that was given to Julius Caesar, because the Ides of March was a specific date that they were referring to, where that's where he ends up getting stabbed.
Isn't it the 15th?
You know? I believe so. Yeah, I think you're right. This was after. So Caesar, I think he goes to Egypt for some reason. I can't remember. Had something to do with war or something like that. I think he was making an alliance, and he saw how it was Cleopatra, and who was the king at the time? I can't remember his name. He didn't last too long. Caesar probably killed him, actually, and then started shacking up with Cleopatra. But it wasn't just the ravishing Cleopatra that he was after. He got the idea for being a king. He was like, oh, this, I've been in Rome spouting about how good democracy is, and then you just got like, I thought I had it good. Like, you literally have just slaves bringing you whatever you want. This is pretty cool. I'm going to go back home and declare myself the king. And that's when the Senate turned on him and was like, that's not how this works. As a matter of fact, here's how democracy works, motherfucker. Everybody gets a stab in. The reason he was stabbed so many times wasn't that it was essential that he was dead. Like, they could have done that with one or two stabs from a single dude. But it had to be a unified message. The Senate is together and bloodying their hands in taking this motherfucker out. And make sure that it was a message to anyone else who tries to take power and declare themselves, king for life.
And told them the day they were going to kill him.
Well, so that was a soothsayer that had given him the message, right? So in the play, in the Shakespeare play, Julius Caesar is stopped by a woman on the street who claims to see the future and warns him of what's going to happen. But that's all she's got for him. Beware the Ides of March. And he's like, whatever, bitch. You're drunk. I'm the king. Nobody's going to step to me, especially now that I've declared myself So I think it wasn't just the kinghood. It was the godhood, right? Because in Egypt, they took power by declaring themselves amongst the gods that they worship, right? When you became a leader in Egypt, you joined the pantheon. The guys with the fucking crow heads and dog heads and all that shit. You're like, I'm one of them now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look no further with how they were buried.
Yes. Remember me.
Right.
Going back to my favorite. But hey, speaking of, DiMaggio's back, baby.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They came up with the money.
They went ahead and bit his shiny metal ass for him.
Damn right. It's an ensemble cast.
It's probably all. It's funny. This stuff would probably just happen all the time behind closed doors. But now with social media, both sides know how to use it to their power. So DiMaggio was like, okay, I'll throw it out there. I'm not coming back unless they pay me right. Let's see what social media has to say about whether they're going to watch a reboot without Bender. I think resounding no was heard throughout the land, that nobody was interested in a reboot of a show missing its most iconic character.
You can bite our shiny metal asses.
Yes. And obviously, whoever's throwing out the money for this new reboot got that message as well.
Oh, that's like doing an Office reboot without, like, Dwight.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing an Office reboot, but Jim's not going to be there. Okay, well, I'm not going to fucking watch. And that's what everybody said when they said no Bender in the Futurama.
So I guess speaking of TV, have you watched anything interesting recently? Kind of a drought. I know that you haven't. I know, I'm still enjoying Billions, even though it's definitely gone off the rails. I like the new direction. It's not as captivating as it once was, and there's not a whole lot else that I'm. Oh well, I guess Raised by Wolves.
I'm glad you brought Billions up again, though, because I had this thought the other day. Is that his shtick? Like, I don't finish a series I'm on? Like, didn't he do that with Homeland, too?
Well,
Damian Lewis, that is, for the listener.
Yes. Yeah. I think in Homeland, the thing was, it was probably only meant to be a one-season thing. And then there would be, next season, a new story with a new bad guy or whatever. But Damian Lewis just fucking took off, and people I hated him in that role, but for the right reasons, because I think he did a really good job. Like, I give it to him. But by the end of that first season, I was like, I'm ready for this guy to blow himself up and we can move on. And it didn't happen. And then, it just keeps going where she's in this relationship with him. And I think all that came after the fact. I think they went into that show thinking that, let's just talk about mental health in an extremely high stress job. That was the overall goal of that show, I believe. And then they were like, somebody in the room was like, what if they're lovers, though?
What if they did it?
Yeah. And props to Damian Lewis. He took what probably was intended to be a 1-season gig and stretched that fucker out. He pulled that taffy. I think the show suffers from it. Like, I would have much rather have seen, seen her tackle other things. Not that every season was, but it kept looping back around to him, right? And he was never that far away because she had a kid with him. So, like, the last couple of seasons, you're seeing this weird redheaded baby. I mean, nobody needs that for their show. Sorry, redheads, I kid. But yeah, I think it's the opposite with Billions.
How so?
I think that he was into it until he started seeing the show go off the rails, and then was like, yeah, probably just went back and said, okay, here's my ask. You got to pay me X amount of dollars. They're like, there's no way we're paying you that much. That's what I thought. I'm just as happy to leave.
Well, they kind of painted themselves into a corner. Because, it was like cat catches mouse, mouse catches cat, then cat and mouse work together to catch other pests. And then it seems like they kind of just... and then
it was moonlighting all over again. Once they get together, the show's over.
Yeah.
Right? Cheers. They had to fucking... They fucked up the Sam and Diane relationship and had to like pull a mulligan. It's like, okay, well, let's get a brunette in here. Let's try this again.
Right.
Only this time she really hates him. Like, seriously.
Yeah. Sam Malone would be in jail, by the way, in 2022. Willing to bet if you go back and watch Cheers and a lot of Sam's advances, I bet they don't age well.
Well, I don't think jail. He would just be canceled and no career.
Yeah, Cheers would be closed.
Yeah.
He'd have been on the Problem Solvers.
I don't think that
predatory bar owner Sam Malone.
He's just a creep of the time. He wasn't like a rapist or anything. Did you celebrate February fasting with 2 Chainz?
Andy owned a bar. Just saying. February. Oh, does that mean don't smoke weed? For
yeah.
No.
Well, it was just a 3-day challenge. February 29th, 30th, and 31st. He posted on social media.
See what you did there.
My dogs say it's time to slow down a little bit.
Does he still have his show, The Most Expensivest Shit Ever?
Oh, that's right. He had the gold-plated joint, right?
One of my favorite names for a web series ever.
Wasn't it a joint that was wrapped in gold?
Yeah, it was. Remember, it was the most expensivest joint ever.
I'm with Adam Carolla on that. Like, you can't just take something and wrap it in gold and be like, now it's the most expensive burger.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, it's got to be the actual ingredients. Most Expensivest Shit Season 2 trailer from 3 years ago, and nothing.
Season 1 was 90 episodes. Jeez, that's some old school Hollywood shit.
Right. Well, they're all like 10 minutes.
Right. Well, you got to figure it's got to be a difficult show to underwrite. I mean, it's right in the title.
Right.
Most podcasts and YouTube videos, pretty cheap.
Well, you probably barter this half one. That shit.
Right, but you smoke the most expensive joint in the world. Like, you can show the most expensive watch in the world and not buy it.
It's true.
Right? Or even return it the next day, maybe. Or just, loan it. Just rent it out. You don't eat the most expensive watch and then turn it into shit. So if you're doing items that are one use, that's an expensive show. Like, how much was that joint? Do you remember how much the joint was?
It was definitely 5 figures.
Yeah, you got to get a lot of clicks to balance that 10-minute clip out. Or, he probably, whatever dispensary sells it, probably got a huge shout out. And they just worked the deal out. You got Prime Video still? You can watch Reacher.
The new Reacher with that big jack dude.
That dude is so huge.
Are we supposed to, just... All right, so first Jack Reacher is 5'4".
Uh-huh.
And now he's gained a foot. He's 20 years younger. He's definitely more jacked.
There's no connection between the movies from 20 2010, 2012, somewhere around there. There's no connection between those movies. And there's the books that they are based on. Obviously, they're both drawing from the same material, but in the books, Jack Reacher is huge. He's like 6'6", 300 pounds of muscle or whatever. I don't know how much they weigh at that size. He's just a monster of a man. He's a slab of beef. So the casting was just always off for the original. I watched some of the first Reacher movie, and I was like, it's not really doing it for me. And yeah, I'm a pretty easy mark for that shit. Like, I love the Mission Impossible movies. I love Tom Cruise. I got nothing against him. I think he does what he does really well. But yeah, part of the whole Reacher thing was just how intimidating he was. And Tom Cruise was a lot of things. Like, he can be intimidating, but he's not like, he's a charmer. He's not an intimidator. When he walks in a room, you're not like, oh shit, some shit's going down.
Yeah.
With Tom Cruise, right?
No one's scared of the little dude who just walked in.
Right. I mean, if he was mad at me and was like, charging at me with his knife hands, I'd be like, oh fuck, I'm not going to take on Tom Cruise. He'll fucking destroy me. But that's different than having that presence.
Which this new Jack Reacher does.
Oh, he's got it all. I watched all 8 episodes over the course of one weekend. I don't usually plow through shows that way, but this the pacing. I mean, it's a fairly breezy thriller. It's a counterfeit scheme, and yes, there's a local girl who's super hot, and it's like 8 episodes of one A-Team adventure. Dude blows into town, finds out some shit's going down, saves the town, and solves a murder at the same time, and then he's out. He's a rolling stone. See ya in season 2. Hope you didn't like the blonde too much, because they're not coming back.
Here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum.
I really hope, if they do this right, they do another season, and nobody from the first season shows up except for Jack Reacher.
He fucking killed them all.
Right. He kills everybody.
Oh, really? I was trying to be hyperbolic.
No.
This is for real?
He kills with reason and, for his own sense of justice, and he definitely always kills bad guys, but the law doesn't come into it. Like, Jack Reacher sees bad guy, shoots bad guy. Like, what? There's
he's a renegade cop playing by his own rules.
There's a great scene where there's a whole team of hitmen that come after him, but he knows that they're coming. So he's outside the house. They go in, and he goes after the driver first. The guy that's just sitting in the car listening to some rap. And he just walks up to the window, knocks on it. So the guy looks at him, goes, what the, holy shit, there's a huge dude right outside the window. Punches through the window, grabs the guy by the neck, pulls him out of the car, throws him on the ground, stomps on his neck, and breaks it.
So this is like some Liam Neeson Taken type of shit.
Oh, it's like if you took 3 Liam Neesons and put them together into one person. That's like, I'm a man of one particular skill, and it's called breaking your fucking
your
neck.
Ass.
Shoots people in the back.
And it sounds like you could get away with it with watching it with your lady friend because she'd need a mop the whole time.
Oh, dude. I'm surprised I didn't sprout a vagina watching it. I was like, I can see what they see in this dude.
Just a big hunk of beefcake.
But charming as fuck, too. Just like John Cena.
Do you have to be charming if you kill everybody in the room?
Well, they do. They manage to, in a different way, with a different character, they managed to pull the same thing off with Peacemaker. And that show, I knew it was going to be enjoyable, but god damn it, I didn't know it was going to be really good.
I have heard that show called the best show on television. Is that going too far? Best show on television right now.
If I'm making a list of we're the year is young, but if I was making a top 5 list, I would imagine it's going to hit it. I mean, right between that and Raised by Wolves, like, I think it's just, it is some of the best stuff on television right now. So it's so much more nuanced than you would think. It's an onion that keeps peeling itself with each episode. And John Cena digs deeper and deeper and comes up with this shit that, like, holy fuck, man. Wow. I'm catching feels off a fucking, not just a superhero movie, a stupid superhero villain movie.
Another wrestler who can act, huh?
He can do it. He fucking does it. And, yeah, you know, and here's the thing. I think it definitely gets a bump because racism is, like, not just the theme. It's, like, the thing. His dad's the Grand Wizard, right?
Oh.
He comes from, you know, straight up white power Nazis. John Cena's character does. Now, he himself is not that, but that's, you know, what he's dealing with. And it's probably the show that the nation needs right now. I hesitate because I'm not trying to oversell this as like it's more important than it is. Because its message is still, you know, rather simple. But what it does is it takes somebody who our gut reaction would be to hate. You know, you describe him, how he acts, what he does. You're like, no, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near this person, much less befriend him. They sound abhorrent. And over the course of the however many 8, I think, episodes, you actually get to know him. And by the end of it, you come away with like, oh, it's not him. It's his upbringing. He's not a lost cause.
You're peeling away the onion of the supervillain.
Right. It's taking a racist asshole killer and actually spending the time to figure out what makes him tick. And again, I'm not trying to get preachy with this, but like if there's any hope for holding this fucking country together, people on both sides of all these stupid arguments are going to have to take that attitude and go, okay, well, all right. I know everybody has told me that this person is whatever, you know, a fucking communist or a racist, you know, what have you. But if we're ever going to figure out how we're going to coexist, and I don't mean that with like a bumper sticker, I mean literally fucking live in the same country, then we're gonna have to figure out what makes each other tick. So, yeah, I mean,
I ignore everyone, it works for me.
Yeah.
Which, you know, while we're on the subject of supervillains, I kind of had this observation over the past few days. Does anyone realize Lex Luthor's right in front of our eyes? We just call him Jeff Bezos. It's happening right in front of us.
Comics Twitter knows that. They've known that forever. Like it just keeps growing, the list of similarities. And I think it's one of those things that becomes an Ouroboros, right? So the more that people realize that like Jeff Bezos is Lex Luthor personified, that now influences the Lex Luthor in the comics. So now he's going to be doing more Bezos things.
I mean, Superman, if you're hanging out, the time is near to make yourself known. He's building rockets. What if just those are his prototypes for missiles that can destroy things like other planets? Oh no, we just told you it's our rocket. Oh, blue whatever. It's just a code name.
Yeah. Yeah, but
for his planet destroying missiles.
But Elon Musk is the villain, right? I mean, come on. I don't know why, for some reason.
See, but he's likable. For some reason,
I'm going to have to say no on that. Not because I don't like him, because I do like him. But I that's like saying that Joe Biden's likable. Well, they took polls on it. Like, he's not. He's not likable, right? Not even his own party likes him enough to get him over, you know, to get the majority of the people actually liking him.
If anything, so, Elon's like Bruce Wayne.
All I'm saying is that, like, yeah, Jeff Bezos has all the trappings of a Lex Luthor. For some reason, Elon gets the villain status on social media forever, no matter what he does. He positioned his free internet providing satellites over Ukraine.
And they showed up in 2 days.
When Russia knocked out their internet.
So today you want Starlink, it'll be there. It's on the way. 48 hours later, Starlink.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's
Twitter.
That's Bruce Wayne shit.
Had almost nothing to say about it. They're all like, no.
Well, okay, rich guys can't do good. It's Twitter. Success is demonized on Twitter.
But, let him call somebody a pussy while he does it.
If you make over $75,000 a year on Twitter, you're an asshole. Just on general principle.
Yeah, and then he'd get headlines that would say, Elon Musk provides free internet to Ukraine, insults transgender people at the same time.
Exactly.
I checked out Yellow Jackets on Showtime.
Yellow Jackets.
And
why does that sound? Why does it sound like
a lot of people have been talking about this. It has a great cast. It stars Christina Ricci, Juliette Lewis.
Oh, I saw commercials for it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's another.
It looks like it's like the teenage girl version of like Alive crossed with I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah. So it's about what are they, soccer players or something? I think they were soccer players. Yeah. And they're going to some national competition, and their plane crashes, and they get stranded out in the woods, and they have to do unspeakable things that nobody's going to talk about. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to stick around and see what these things are. And I realized halfway through the season, they're not going to tell me. They're not going to tell me any of this stuff, are they?
So no payoff to the story?
I'm guessing not. I'm gonna read a rundown of it just to confirm, but I guarantee you no big reveals at the end of this season because the way that they're just stringing everything along, and they're telling the story both at the time of the crash in I think the 80s and current time with some of the survivors, and none of in the 4 episodes that I watched, none of the current timeline stuff really ties together. But I don't know. You know what? Forget it.
Basically, you're going to read the "Come on, Internet, should I keep wasting my time?"
Yeah, there's like this C story about one of the survivors having an affair with some dude who's like younger than her and way out of her league, and she doesn't think anything of it. And it's like, okay. Yeah, we get it. Like, she's being set up. Somebody's trying to get information out of her, or set her up for something. And you're going to drag that out for this whole season. I mean, it's just going to be lost all over again. There's no payout.
Some people have called the worst finale ever.
But it's upsetting because it's actually a real waste of talent. It has, aside from the more known actors in it, both of which are fantastic in the roles, it's got a really strong cast. And I think it has the bones of a great premise for a show that, but they're just throwing it away.
It sounds like maybe there's some presumptuous writing thinking they'll get a season 2 just because of who's in it.
I think that there's a strategic writing going on that happens a lot more in TV now. Yeah. They want to hold back and tease things that they, leave them wanting more, hoping that, audience will be clamoring for, where's our season 2?
Well, you got to have a good season 1 first. What Adam Carolla say today? You got to have a part 2 if you're going to have a part 1.
What? I don't know what that means. You got to have a part 2 if you're going to have a part 1?
Yeah. If you're coming up with the first half of something,
you have to
be prepared to have a second half, in a sense.
What if it has 3 parts?
Well, his whole point was don't have half an argument. Have a whole argument.
Oh, okay.
How'd the Gemstones end?
Oh, I gave up.
Gave up?
I think there's 2 more episodes, and I was like, well, if this is not going to be funny, then what am I doing?
Oh, no. You're saying season 2 wasn't that great?
No.
Oh.
I mean, the thing is, it's the same jokes from season 1, so they're not funny anymore. I don't know. I think, I was never into watching the show for the thriller aspect of it. You know, finding out who's blackmailing the family and all that. Like,
they're leaning on the wrong part.
Absolutely. I mean, there's this whole thing about the father, John Goodman's character, his past coming back to haunt him. So that, sketchy characters showing up, and then somebody gets killed, and he's got blood on his hands, and what really happened. And there's guys driving around on slick neon colored motorcycles, shooting automatic weapons. Like, I get it. What's his nuts that plays the lead, the creator of the show?
Danny McBride.
Right.
So
he wants to do an action movie or an action show or whatever, but he knows that he's got to do it as a comedy, or at least he did for season 1. I think now he's trying to get away with no, I think, the story is going to be compelling enough. We can just tell it. No. You have to write jokes.
Well, yeah, what I'm hearing is
there's literally no more jokes in it. It's just all based on whatever crazy shit's going to come out of the sister's mouth in these semi-improv scenes and everybody's ridiculous wardrobe.
What I'm hearing is you got a bunch of comedians and you're not doing comedy. That sounds like a recipe for...
It's another waste of talent. That's the thing. There's so many funny fucking people on there.
Kind of seems dumb.
Miracle Workers, that's a funny show. With some people who, aren't really... Well, I guess Steve Buscemi has done his fair share of comedy, but he's not necessarily known for that exclusively. Daniel Radcliffe, he's known for, being the Harry Potter dude. Being Harry Potter, not the Harry Potter dude.
Yeah.
But he's surprisingly funny. And if you've never seen Miracle Workers, you can catch all of them on HBO, all 3 seasons now. And each season is a completely different story. And the 3rd season is Miracle Workers Oregon Trail. And I'd say it's the closest we're ever going to get to a reboot of Blazing Saddles.
Really?
Yeah.
The 2021 version, or 2020. What year is it? 2022?
Yeah. Well, I think this one came out. Yeah, this one came out in 2021. So I mean, obviously, the N-word count is way down. I mean, 0. Right? So that's the biggest difference between the two of them. But that being said, I don't think that I'm not one to say that you can't remake it because you can't say the N-word. No, you could make it funny and remove the N-word from it. I'm not saying you can go back and edit Blazing Saddles and still have it be funny.
Are there still just as many dick jokes?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And this comedy, the Miracle Workers it's raunchy and it's dark humor. I mean, they have a whole episode where they're trying to figure out a system to decide who's going to get eaten next. Right. At first, they all decided it was going to be the sickly boy because he's sick anyway all the time. He's always got polio or the mumps or some shit, and he's like, "I'm fine with it. I understand."
What pipe? He's got no meat. He's sickly. Maybe we should eat someone else.
Exactly. That was Daniel Radcliffe's argument.
Isn't the point to eat? Would you eat the smallest cow?
Yeah. So, in the first season takes place in heaven, and Steve Buscemi is God, and all the rest of the actors work for him, and he's a checked out God. He's walking around in stained sweats and just doesn't see the point in anything anymore, and decides that he's just going to blow up Earth and open up a themed restaurant instead, because that seems a lot easier. And so they have to convince him not to blow up the Earth and scrap the whole experiment. And then there's a Dark Ages was season 2, and then obviously Oregon Trail that we talked about.
What is this show again?
It's called Miracle Workers. In season 3, Buscemi plays what is his? I think his name's Benny the Teen. It's supposed to be obviously a take on Billy the Kid.
Ah, gotcha.
Right? But he's Benny the Teen. But he's
older.
He's old as fuck. Well, he looks like fucking Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi looked 40 when he was 20. So no diss on him, but he's always looked like an old man.
Yeah. I saw Fried Green Tomatoes the other day. It was on somewhere. And I said, Morgan Freeman, like, dude, you looked 50, 30 years ago. Well, isn't he like 80? That would make sense.
Yeah. Wait, why were you watching Fried Green Tomatoes?
It was on flipping the channels.
Nah. Flipping the channels? Whoa, retro style.
Right? I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah. Oh, you're having your last few channel surf sessions before you retire it?
It was for my wife.
Yeah.
I don't watch it, and I can watch my football, or there's many other ways to watch live sports now. Yep. So yeah, I officially have too much TV again. My contract's up this month. See ya. I was just watching the streaming version of it anyway, the no cable box version.
So what streamers are going to replace it then? What do you?
Nothing.
There you go. Sports.
Nothing. I have Netflix, Hulu.
All right.
Peacock,
yeah, you already have that.
Amazon.
Right.
Done. And I'll probably shit can Netflix because I don't watch anything on it. Like, I might add HBO Max.
I'd say it's worth it.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.
Spring is in the air at Mohawk Mountain House, and so are the savings. Book your spring stay at the Hudson Valley's most iconic resort and enjoy 85 miles of hiking trails, boating on Lake Mohawk, mountain biking, and more. Enjoy farm-to-table meals, fitness and wellness classes, and live entertainment all included in your stay. Escape to the outdoors at Mohawk Mountain House and save up to 40% with the spring sale when you book by March 22nd. Visit Mohawk.com for details and to book now. That's MOHONK.com.
Hey you! Ready for the chance of a lifetime? In the next 3 minutes, you could win $3 million! All new players at ResortsCasino.com get a free spin for a chance to win $3 million instantly. No purchase required. That's right. At ResortsCasino.com, you could win $3 million right now. Sign up and get your free spin. Only at ResortsCasino.com, where winners play. Must be over 21 and physically present in New Jersey. Excluded persons prohibited. Terms and conditions apply. Visit ResortsCasino.com for more details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Finding the right person for the job isn't easy. Just ask someone who hired their personal trainer as a caterer.
All right, folks, let's keep this line moving. You there with the tongs. Picking up one Duchess potato at a time will not cut it at my catering table. Drop and give me 50.
But if you've got an insurance question, you can always count on your local Geico agent. They can bundle your policies, which could save you hundreds.
Okay, this is what we call the wild mushroom and asparagus dip, and press. Come on, let's get those plates above your heads.
For expert help with all your insurance needs, visit geico.com/local today.
ChristopherMedia.net. The Weedsman Podcast.
They have Nightmare Alley. I watched that movie twice. I mean, don't watch it if you're depressed, because that is one dark-ass movie. It is not, like, it's about a bad person who does bad things, and eventually bad things happen to him.
Gotcha.
It's actually based on an old noir. I've never seen the original. Well, I guess you could say it's based on a book that was written, 1920s, I think. And they made a film about it in the 40s, and then now the Guillermo del Toro, which I guess I'm surprised that I thought people would be raving over this movie. And I don't know. A lot of people say it's just too long and too slow. It's like, really, that's what I thought about The Shape of Water, and that movie's short. I was like, this is over an hour already. Are they gonna fuck? Is she gonna fuck this fish or what? Shape of Water was okay. It's a beautiful movie. It's kind of not much of a plot, and I'm like, all right, yeah, it's a love story. I get it. It's nice. I think Nightmare Alley is just fascinating. It's all about a guy who he joins not really a circus. He becomes a carny, like freak shows and shit. Not like cleaning up elephant poop, but doing the whole grift.
Gotcha.
Mentalism and all that shit.
So yeah, there's probably a lot of seedy, unseemly shit in this movie.
Yeah. Lots of it. And it's kind of two parts. Like there's one that takes place during his time with the carnival or sideshow, and then we get he moves on to high society, like takes his mentalism act to the nightclubs. And I love both parts of it, but the second part is just so visually stunning because it's all, everything is just beautiful, Art Deco streamlined, just amazing sets and costumes and everything. It's just a beautiful looking movie.
Is it the type of movie that you feel like you need to take a shower after you've seen it, even if you took a shower before you sat down to watch it?
You might, yeah.
There's still only one movie only for me that holds that title, Requiem for a Dream.
It's up there. Like I think, Requiem for a Dream is like a slow ramp up. It's similar structure. Horrible people do horrible shit to themselves and others, and then end up having consequences. The end. But it seems to be a slow, steady pace on Requiem, where it's much more of a low boil on Nightmare Alley that just suddenly erupts in this violent final scene. Well, not really final scene, but a violent third act, let's say.
Well, I look forward to not watching it due to my aversion to violence.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I say, it's not like there's one scene where pretty violent things happen to two of the characters, but it's done in such a way where I was like, oh God, I don't know if I want to watch that again.
Ugh.
Well, there's my youngest said that she wanted to watch Pan's Labyrinth. I was like, all right, look, that's a fucking heavy ass movie. But out of all the things that happen, I think you can handle most of it. But let it be known that a guy gets his head caved in with a bottle of wine in that movie.
Isn't she like 15, 16 now?
Yeah.
My friends were watching like Faces of Death at that age.
Yeah, and I don't know. There's certain things that, I don't know, stuff like that, especially head trauma, it just sticks with me.
Yeah, that's what, like, for me, that's the thing. Like, anything that's realistic, that's what I can't do. Like, cartoon shit,
yeah,
I'm fine with. Like, horror movie shit, like, I'll still cover my face and stuff because I'm a little bitch. But, like, for me, the psychological thing isn't there, right? Like, it's like,
yep.
Freddy Krueger isn't going to come get me in my dreams and kill me, right?
There's one of the characters gets run over by a car.
Yeah, if it's realistic, that's the shit that I can't do.
Right.
Like, it's
I've seen. There's my favorite death in RoboCop is when the guy gets the toxic sludge poured over him and he starts melting, and then he gets hit by the car.
Oh yeah, that's like Wile E. Coyote.
Right, exactly. And the way it's done in this, I was like, oh shit, like that looks legit.
Like a True Lies, right? And the guy's on the missile and Arnold fires him, right? That's
right.
Wiley, you might as well say Acme on the side of that missile.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like it's like, like even like Marvin gets shot in the face in Pulp Fiction. It still gives me the willies. It still gives me the creeps. I've seen it a million times, but yeah, like I said, if it's realistic, I can't handle it.
Well, so Tarantino does both, though, right? He's able to do those scenes that are shocking and feel like real, and he's also able to do the Wile E. Coyote shit, like pretty much all of Kill Bill 1 and 2.
Well, yeah.
When you see Lucy Liu get the top of her head cut off, that didn't affect me because that's like ridiculous. You see her brain. But the guy who gets his face bashed in with a fire extinguisher and Irreversible, I can't watch that movie again.
Oh God, I can't even talk about it. The fucking razor blade scene in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, and they don't even show you that one.
No, but they let your mind do it to you. They let your mind do it for you.
Because he knows your mind's going to fuck you up worse than any special effect that he can come up with.
Oh, like the hair standing up on the back of my neck just thinking about that scene right now.
He's talking into the ear. All right, so yeah, we can move on then.
Right.
We'll change topics. So let's talk about cannabis then. So what's new with cannabis? Obviously nationally, nothing, right?
A little bigger fish to fry right now.
If I know we've been saying that a lot lately, but yeah, check out the news if you're confused.
Yeah.
But, that doesn't mean that there's not still things happening locally. There was, Maryland? The House approved a bill allowing voters to decide on legalizing recreational marijuana. So, I don't know. I thought I understood how democracy worked, right? I watched Schoolhouse Rock.
What are you doing? What are you adding a middleman for, Maryland legislature?
Right.
Like, you're already there.
Yeah. Well, traditionally, these things are either done through a ballot initiative, right, where they would go and get signatures, and they have to get so many signatures to prove that people are interested in the subject, and then you can get on the ballot, and then people vote on it. Or it goes through the legislature, and they put a plan together, and they vote on it. But now, having the legislator approve whether the people can vote on it seems like you've got democracy backwards, right?
Yeah. I mean,
House delegates, let's see, this is from the Star...
Several state legislatures...
Star Democrat. House delegates advanced 2 pieces of legislation Friday that would put the issue of legalizing recreational marijuana on the ballot in November. But if a majority of voters approve, it becomes... Yeah, okay, we understand that much.
Never mind, I'm high, and I think I'm misunderstanding what's going on here. So they're actually trying... Well, no, wait, still adding a middleman. Yeah. You're already going, hey, the people can vote on it. Well, why don't you just go, let's us vote on it? It just seems like it's delaying the...
I'm sure there's plenty of other examples. I've never heard of having your elected leaders collectively vote, not on passing laws, but on whether the people are allowed to vote for a particular law or not. Right? The system that we have is pretty much in every state. I know the structure is not always identical, but we all have the same basic democracy or representative republic or whatever the fuck we want to call it these days. And if the majority, not even the majority, like if you can get enough people in the district to support the idea of voting on an issue, it gets on the ballot.
Until now, it's been 2 ways, right? Like in Michigan, we got enough signatures, or the state legislatures have done it. But this one seems to be, it's a hybrid approach. State legislature going, what do you think? And I'll tell you, doesn't Virginia didn't they just vote in legal cannabis? DC has legal cannabis? Well, Maryland, you're surrounded. I'm guessing you're probably, don't they have a red governor?
Not just surrounded. I mean, so Politico ran a story this week that the title of it was, "Get Ready for the Northeast to Become Cannabis Country." New Jersey is likely to start sales first, but New York is poised to become the nation's weed capital. Well, yeah, it is. That's a high concentration of people. A lot of them, I would dare say more than half of New Yorkers are probably going to, at some point, whether it's, once a year on their birthday or every morning when they wake up, they're going to be consuming cannabis. Although I don't necessarily agree with Gene Sullivan, who is, according to this Politico ad, longtime New York-based cannabis investor, who says New York is going to be Amsterdam on steroids.
What is your...
First of all, that's dumb.
What is your proof? All right, because first of all...
I don't even know what that means.
Because for starters, the one city that could be isn't. Yeah. It's called Las Vegas.
What does that mean?
Buddy, Las Vegas is Sodom and Gomorrah, and then some other third city of sin that, from some other, biblical text. All right?
Imagine going to Amsterdam, but it was jacked, had really small balls, and a hair trigger.
Right.
That's what New York's going to be. That's what they're saying.
L.A. has legal cannabis. And LA's just LA. I mean, there's no change, right? It's just another thing that people get taxed to death on in another industry that's failing out there.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that another week. But what is this?
I don't know. That's the only quote from them. And they don't they don't expound on it. But they certainly make a good case for why New York is, once it becomes fully recreational in New York, it's going to dominate because, I mean, New York just dominates culturally in so much of America.
It's going to make a bunch more money, and it's going to make a few more jobs. It's going to do what it's done everywhere. And the state, Albany's going to be super fucking pumped at the end of the first year, going, holy shit.
No, but it's going to do more than that, I think. This is the part of the story that I really agree with, is that once New York comes online and things are going well, this is going to be a major boost for the push to get this recreational across the whole country and to get this finally off of Schedule 1.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to make, that's pretty much, it's going to be all the East Coast except for the southern states, because it's going to be like Virginia all up through, because you think about everything that touches the Atlantic Ocean, Virginia.
It's going to completely surround D.C.
Yeah, you get Maryland in there. Well, D.C.'s already legal. So, legal-ish. And then you got New York, you got Jersey, you got Massachusetts, you got Maine. Yeah, I mean, that whole eastern seaboard until you get to the Carolinas, minus Maryland, is going to be legal. It's funny, how many states did I name? That's only like the top half of the East Coast. It's like 3 states for the West Coast.
Here's another quote from this Sullivan person. Never before have I seen this great mass of new people that haven't invested in cannabis before that are now looking. All those industries are already thinking of great ways to play. So they're seeing a lot more money poised to dump into what's going to be an immense market in New York. I mean, if they do it right.
It's true.
Because like California, they were early adopter of medical. They were they were one of the earlier recreational as well. But it's a slow rollout in a place where there's a lot of cannabis being grown. Right? I'm sure there's plenty growing in New York too. I'm not saying that like California is like special in this way, but this is once it opens up in New York, that's kind of like the floodgates opening up. It's not like sorry, I lost my train of thought.
Happens at this point in the show, everybody.
Like, it just seems like California just more gradually opened the spigot. And this is going to be like a trickle in New York too. We're going to open up a fire hose and just dump billions of dollars and millions of pounds of cannabis into the state.
Hey, there's more than one way to do something.
Oh, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. Also, I think the difference is going to be that New York's probably not going to shoot themselves in the foot with over taxation and regulation, and they're going to want to have affordable, regulated cannabis for people visiting the city, and probably definitely places for them to enjoy that. That's where I believe that New York can really succeed in a way that, opportunities that California is not, they've not leaped on, because they're too concerned with like, oh, wow, look at all this tax money we're getting. Let's open up that spigot. That's endless supply, right? Not if you tax it out of existence.
Well, yeah.
Everything's got a breaking point.
The free market is the free market, whether you
charge $20 for a 40. See how long it takes people to brew their own moonshine, motherfucker.
Exactly.
Like, water finds a way. Liquor finds a way. Weed finds a way.
Like, the free market is truly the free market, whether you've deemed it legal or not.
Yes.
Economics are economics. If a $30 bag of weed is $60 at your place, people are going to go to where they can find it for $30.
Yes. California, here's a question for you. What's 50% of zero?
Exactly. Exactly. Gavin Newsom.
Can't tax what's not there, or at least not on the books.
I mean, that's what all those businesses are doing. Oh, you want to take how much? Deuces, we're in Texas. Houston will be happy to have us. And Houston's growing like a motherfucker.
Where are you going to go? Literally anywhere.
Yeah. Literally anywhere else in the country.
They don't even have to stay in the country.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's California. Mexico's right there. We could just drive down I-5. Like, fucking, they, call back to Elon. They fucking got froggy with Elon. He went, oh, really? All right. Bye. How quick was Tesla out of California? Been there for years. Like that. Boom.
They left in insane mode.
Yes. They put all the Teslas on insane mode on a row. They were in Houston in 4 hours.
They actually built a tunnel there. They went underground.
Built the Hyperloop to Houston. Yeah, so hopefully New York looks at California as an example of how not to do it. What not to do. Anything else with the cannabis?
Not a whole lot. Georgia seems to be making another pass at medical marijuana. It's like, come on, Georgia.
It's going to take a while.
Like the little train that could over here. We're all rooting for you, but you got to get on some kind of program.
Well, I mean, Florida is legal. No, it's not legal yet. It's got medical. I mean, for the Georgia domino to fall, I think the Florida domino's got to fall. To that part of the country, I think, God help us. I think Florida is the key to that part of the country.
So in this story from Walker County Messenger, it says in 2019, the General Assembly created a commission to launch a medical marijuana program in Georgia. 3 years later, not a single patient has received a single dose.
Because you know why? I may or may not have been looking into, medical programs down in Georgia. Things where I'm going to be for the next 2 weeks. Seeing if there's any reciprocity or anything like that. There are 0 dispensaries in Georgia.
Yep.
None. 0. So where are they going to get it from?
Despite the tentative, this is continuing from the story, despite the tentative granting of 6 licenses last summer, the initiative is mired in legal protests filed by companies denied licenses, claiming the selection process was flawed. State Representative Alan Powell says it's the most maddening process I've ever seen.
Yeah,
so it sounds like it's sabotage, right? It's mismanagement because they don't. Like, there's probably people pulling strings that just don't give a fuck whether cannabis is legal or not.
Someone's got them a government job and they don't care. They just mire up the works. They stay employed.
And it's usually not even the teetotalers that cause the trouble. It's the people who just, they're probably white, middle class, well off, and have no fear of, even if they do enjoy some cannabis, if a cop pulls them, so what? Nothing's going to happen to me.
Oh, depends. Oh, we're talking about Georgia. You get out of Atlanta. So, how do I say this delicately? A little more poverty? I guess it's not delicately. You got those smaller towns.
Right.
You get to a certain economic level, everyone's the same color.
Right. You're talking about people that, if they want weed, somebody's growing weed. Just like if they want liquor, somebody's making liquor.
Well, that too, yes.
Like dispensaries, they probably don't ever go into a liquor store.
No, just Georgia's a lot of forest. You got Atlanta, you got Savannah, you got your college towns here and there, but a lot of forest. But I really think to that part of the map, other than Florida and Texas.
Yeah,
you get just on the nature of the states that they touch, right? Because Florida's going to make Georgia and Alabama seriously think about it. You get Alabama on board, Mississippi's got to think about it.
Kentucky's on board. They just unveiled a recreational program.
Squeeze play.
Yep. Senate Minority Floor Leader Morgan McGarvey, Senator David Yates, and Representative Rachel Roberts introduced a 74-page legislation on Thursday. This is from the marijuana moment. And there's a competing Republican-led proposal filed in January that would legalize only medical cannabis. But hopefully, we're rooting for recreational, obviously.
Listen, we did what we could for the Midwest people, all right? Michigan we were the Midwest California, all right? We were the trailblazer. Mm-hmm. Someone else Illinois followed us. Someone else got to jump on. Ohio, what are you waiting for? Wisconsin, let's go. You know, because Ohio jumping on board, it's going to put the squeeze play on a state like Pennsylvania, who's going to be caught between New York, Virginia. Actually, I think it'd be West Virginia. But you know what I'm saying.
But Michigan's still looking at, I thought I had saved it. There was a story I read recently, and I remember it was somewhere out in BFE. It wasn't like in a suburb area, but they were talking about opening up a, what do you call it? Like an actual bar. Some place where you could, consume publicly.
Isn't Pine Knob supposed to have one this season?
I don't know. And it's Pine Knob have to look into that. Right. Yeah, that's right.
Love it.
But I think that's what Michigan needs to do is not just get the cannabis consumption lounges and that installed, but like get it out to this, get that shit out in like Traverse City or wherever the fuck people want to go and do their skiing or their, see the dunes out in Holland or wherever the fuck.
Oh, there's a lot of golf up north.
Like, yeah, all that shit. Like, all the fucking trout rivers and, hunting bears or elk or whatever the fuck you want to do. All this outdoor shit, hiking. All these motherfuckers, they want cannabis just at the same percentage that the people in the cities do. So, you show somebody, hey, you're going to see some beautiful countryside. You're going to see a bear. Then you're going to go sit in a sauna. And you're going to smoke a fat joint.
So I think perfect trip for me.
Like, shut up and take my money.
Right. Perfect trip. Go up north. Couple rounds of golf. Hit up some breweries. Hit up some dispensaries. Call the fucking day. Yes, Michigan. That used to be the slogan.
Maybe hit up a sauna.
Why
smoke a big blunt. I don't know. Would you just pass out trying to smoke a blunt in the sauna? But I think you'd pass out, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Can you clam bake in a sauna, or is that not?
I don't know if I'd do that.
Or you'd be like Woody Harrelson in Natural Born Killers and freak out in the tent.
Like me 20 years ago, I'd probably do that. Now, I don't think I'd do that. That does not sound like maybe a joint, but a blunt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ!
That kid who froze his nipples off.
Oh,
I was like, yeah, I might have done that when I was done.
Yeah, yeah, I knew kids who would have done that. Not gonna lie.
Like I might not have been the kid who did it, but if not, I was definitely the kid who was like, you should do it.
I like that the kid who it happened to didn't freak the fuck out. He's like, yeah, whatever, it happened.
Well, what does he need nipples for, right?
Yeah, he's a dude.
Hey, every dude's got useless nipples. Not everyone's got a story like that.
Right? This guy streamlined his body.
Right.
I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
What happened to your nipples? Well, I froze them solid, and then I flicked them off like I was kicking a paper field goal.
Right?
What are those? What's the game that you play?
Football. Paper football.
Paper football, right? I just fucking flicked those fuckers off. Well, my friend made a...
I mean, there's going to be scars there, right?
With his fingers on the other side.
That's where my nipples used to be.
I guess, but then you'd have,
He's going to look like an action figure when he's like 30. Once it's scarred over and he's grown.
Yes, you would have scar tissue, but what do nipples look like?
Right.
Like, is it that much different?
He's going to look like Ken.
And if he's hairy, nobody's knowing. If this motherfucker's like...
It's true.
Robin Williams. Who knows if Robin Williams had nipples? I don't.
It's true. Could he be hirsute? Is that the word?
He could not have a belly button, for all I know. Maybe it was growing in a lab.
I think Robin Williams was always wearing a coat.
Yeah. No, I kid. I know. He was hatched from an egg. We all saw it.
Yes. Jonathan Winters was his child.
He was hatched from an egg as an old man.
No, he was 20 years older than him.
Yeah. Well, no, but more the people from Orc, they aged backwards.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So Jonathan Winters was younger than him.
Oh, so they were Benjamin Button before Benjamin Button.
Yeah. I think he meets...
Oh, what was his name?
He meets the elders from his... and they're all like little kids.
What was Jonathan Winters' fucking name in the show?
I don't remember.
God damn it. Mirth. His name was Mirth.
Mirth?
Mirth, like the like, not like
Mirth.
No, yeah, not like that. Like the planet with the letter M in front of it.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good one actually.
Yeah, not like Mirth, like haha.
Right. Raquel Welch was on it as Captain Nirvana.
Okay.
Really? That's interesting.
This is before the workout tapes.
Oh, wait a minute. Why in the cast of Mork and Mindy does it list Chris Diamantopoulos as Robin Williams? That's Russ Hanneman. What is this?
What's happening?
Remember from Silicon Valley?
Oh,
Trace Thomas?
Right.
That's Russ Hanneman.
That guy fucks.
He's listed. So I Googled Mork and Mindy. I'm looking at the cast according to Google.
Well, maybe there's supposed to be a reboot.
He's in the cast, but he's not. No, he's not listed as playing Mork. He's listed as playing Robin Williams.
Huh?
Yes.
Well, that's strange.
They can't be doing a fucking biopic with him. No, they did. In 2005, behind the camera, the unauthorized story of Mork and Mindy.
Oh, really?
Starring Chris Diamantopoulos, this guy fucks, Aaron Hayes, and Michelle Harrison.
He's related to Dino, right? I mean, no, that's not a crazy coincidence. Or no, wait, no, Dino is something with an S, right? Dino Stama.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
Never mind. All Greek people aren't related. Sorry, everybody.
No, no relation, just a lot of vowels. This looks insane. I can't imagine this is any good.
Who played Mindy? Or Pam Dauber, I should say.
Aaron Hayes.
The fuck is that?
I don't know. She's an actor. She was in, let's see, The Last Bill and Ted. She was in Children's Hospital, so I know you haven't seen her in that.
Oh, wait. I might actually... She looks familiar. Let me...
She was on Kevin Can Wait. She was on Medical Police. It's got to be another Adult Swim. It's on The Goldbergs, The Hot Wives of Las Vegas. She was on 2 episodes of Parks and Rec as Annabelle Porter.
There you go. That's how I know that chick.
She was in the Recall Vote episode and the William Henry Harrison episode.
Yeah, no, she was she was their version of Gwyneth Paltrow with the crazy lifestyle blog that sold all these.
Yeah, Annabelle Porter is the owner and CEO of Bloosh.
Yes.
A popular trends app. She first appeared in season 6. So Recall Vote, and appeared again in season 7. Yeah, I totally remember this.
So she plays
Annabelle was
Pam
the
Dauber.
face of Eagleton's phone book.
Yes.
But whoever wrote this is from I guess this is a section from the Parks and Recreation fandom page. It was the face of Eagleton's phone book, but decided to pursue her dreams and become friends with a bunch of celebrities.
She was a real deal. She lived at Cape Bosworth pool house. That's what Tom Haverford said about her.
You didn't have to tell me. There's only one person that would say that line in that show.
Right. It's true. Well, it'd be him or Retta would say
Oh
it.
yeah, you're right. She would know that as well. Treat yourself. All right. So yeah. Yes, there was already a not a biopic actually. So why do like you're not going to do Robin Williams? We just want to focus on this one stupid TV show that he did.
Well, it didn't make him a star. I mean,
well,
something else would have, but
yeah, that's what I was going to argue. I mean, I know that's like the impossible. It's a straw man argument. Who would ever know that? But
it's what brought him. It's what made him a household name. It's what took him from coked out. Yeah. You know that we all know the HBO special where he's sweating the whole time. You know, he disappears backstage several times for quote unquote costume changes.
But here's what I'd say to support my argument. Imagine that he's not in Mork and Mindy. They cast somebody else. How many seasons does that show air?
A half.
Right. If. on its concept alone, nobody's fucking watching that show.
Maybe it gets 2 seasons because everybody always forgets this.
It's fucking Small Wonder without...
No, but everyone, it was a spin-off of Happy Days, so maybe it gets a couple seasons
it's got
off
a little
that.
Juice, that's right. Yeah, that I...
Because remember...
What wasn't?
Because also remember, 3 channels.
Yes.
3 channels. It's a spin-off of a widely popular series. Probably gets at least 2 seasons just based on that.
Joni and Chachi didn't even get a full season, did it?
No. Well, no, it got 1.
All right. So yeah, it probably would get 1 season.
I mean, you could at least get 1 season just tossing the Fonz in a couple episodes. Like the spaceman's got to work on his motorcycle or some shit.
Right.
Gives it magical space powers or some dumb 80s sitcom bullshit.
Oh, it'd be 19 and a half minutes of nano. Hey.
Right. Yeah, who else at the time would you even give that? Yeah, if that's Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, maybe. But Bill Murray doesn't take a gig like that. Maybe Dan Aykroyd.
I can't see him.
Listen, it's Beldar.
Doesn't make sense.
But you're on a different network.
I mean, you have to have a complete man-child. And I don't say that to be insulting. Like, he was genius at what he did. And that was part of it. Like, he was able to, like, I think we watch it now and knowing more about what we know, like we say, oh, this is like, a manic phase and some of this is just fucking drugs. But what I feel like the culture absorbed from him at the time was that he was pure id. He was able to safely and without really offending anyone was able to regress to a childlike state in which he says whatever the fuck is on his mind and finds ways to, and through that almost like back doors into being insightful in ways.
Well, I mean, not to continue to go down the Mork and Mindy rabbit hole here, but wasn't one of the things, one of the big deals about that show, too, was that it was one of the first shows to kind of experiment with improv.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, I would imagine so, but yeah, I didn't think of it in that aspect. Like, I just assume anything that you do with Robin Williams, especially at that time, is probably going to be heavily improv, and I've certainly heard stories about, but I didn't think of it in context of like, yeah, that would be actually radically different, because I don't know, like, you're still you're recording almost all of your sitcoms in front of live audiences at the time, right? Mm-hmm. So you pretty much got to stick to the script.
True, but also one of those things where it's like, yeah, we all have our lines, but, Robin got a raise this season, and there's an 8-ball of Coke on his rider for every show. So on your toes, everybody.
Well, and we know what people keep coming back to the show for.
Yeah.
Right?
And too, if you're professional actors, like, you fucking go with it, right? That's why I got the gig. How do we even end up doing like 10 minutes on Morgan?
I don't know.
Weed. That's the answer, buddy. Weed.
I don't know, but that's it.
Yeah.
There's no more segues.
Yeah.
Cut off.
Yes.
No more tangents.
Yeah.
Time to wrap this one up.
Yep. Well, you smoke a bunch of weed. You talk about Morton Mindy for 10 minutes. Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at The Weedsman 420 on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Hit the PayPal button and the Amazon buttons at ChristopherMedia.net if you would like to help out the show. And wherever you listen to us, rate us, review us. Review. That is how you help other people find us. Helps give us more credibility when they see more than 4 reviews. We got a little more than that, but you get the point, and it helps people find us. So if you could rate us and review us, we would appreciate it.
We should start doing some shout-outs. We'll find some reviews that we can read on the air and shout out to people. People like that, right?
Yeah.
So if you want us to read your review on the air, write a fucking review so we can read it.
Even if you're like, I'm writing this review so you'll read it on the air, we'll fucking read it. Just to call out your smartassery. We'll be smartasses back. But if you could do that, please and thank you.
Dear fuckheads, I love your podcast.
Yeah.
Quit being assholes and read my review.
Yeah, and we'll read it because we like that. So thank you for listening and stay high.
Stay high. And nenu.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. I'd like to carry more parts at my shop, but I just don't have the room. Every time I go in the back to get wiper blades, I trip over a dusty crate of Honda air filters, then bang my head on some GTO radiator hoses. eBay Motors never has that problem. They stock all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them, with everything from new headlights to vintage gear shifters. I can't imagine being able to stock 122 million parts. I mean, where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride.
The Weedsman Podcast. ChristopherMedia.net.